Okay, what is up, guys? It is Robby James here, down with Adrian from Kitesurf 365. What do you have to say for today for us, man?
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to my new playlist, The Brew.
It was a pleasure, man, you know, dude. I'm so stoked to be here right now. You asked the right guy, that's for sure, man, you know?
Hey, I guess before we get into it, just to let you guys know, actually, we were supposed to do this podcast about 12, 15 hours ago. And what happened, bro?
So basically, yeah. So we were supposed to do this podcast like 12 hours ago. Got here, had a beer, missed the sunset. And yeah, what happened is we sent it at night, you know, but now we're here back in the morning, back with a beer, having fun, doing this podcast.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Man.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, brother. Exactly.
That's kind of funny, bro, to think that when I first saw you competing in the cat, I guess it must be 8 months ago, for me to be thinking that I'd be sitting in Thailand on an island drinking beers with you, mate. I mean, it's pretty cool, right? How cool's the internet?
Man, it's been so sick, honestly. The internet makes you meet the best of people, the most amazing of people, and the people that you've never expected to meet. And it's just, man, a respect to the internet, you know, honestly.
Hey, mate, what's your background? I mean, your mum's Thai, your dad's British?
Yep. So basically, as he said, my mum's Thai, my dad's British. Basically my family, I live in Thailand, my family lives in Singapore, as basically they have a job there and stuff. And yeah, I'm just here, just chilling, living the kite life, the kite lifestyle.
And where did you grow up?
So basically I grew up a bit in England and a bit in Singapore too. I did both, like my education around in there, because in Thailand, like the schools are not the best. And the education level is not too high, so I chose to do it in more civilized places.
Civilized.
Not saying Thailand's not civilized, it's super awesome, but like, you know, school's important.
And so why did you decide to ride under the Thai flag? Because I guess that was I guess most people noticed you on the tour because it was the first time they'd seen a Thai rider, right? I mean, that was probably the first thing I noticed, but why did you decide to represent Thailand where you could have ridden under the UK flag or anything, you know?
So basically for me, mate, like why I represent Thailand was, you know, I was already living here, and the thing about England is that it's a big country. You know, there's so many really good riders too, and since I have a Thai passport, I'm like, why can't I push the Asian level, you know? And that's why I really stepped forward. I put Thailand as my representative. And I just wanted to push the level in Asia, show all the guys in Asia that it is possible. Because when you're living in Asia, like, it's not windy all the time here, you don't have the best spots, and it's almost like it's impossible to reach that professional level. And I just want to be an inspiration to all these Asian riders that are trying their best, that it is possible, it just takes hard work and passion.
The only Thai guys I really know outside of yourself are obviously Yo and Bobby. Are there any more sort of young guys coming through on the scene now and, you know, sort of seeing what you're doing on the tour and trying to sort of make a better run for themselves?
So I've got, so there is a lot of next generation Thai kids, I would say, that has been kiting for a long time. They've been pushing it, but the thing about them is it's like they don't really have the money to actually push them to actually travel. You know, they're grown up from really not rich family, just really simple, and that's probably one of the reasons why they can't really visit world-class spots to actually train and further their skill level. That's what I can say.
Ah, that's cool, man. And I mean, we're just sitting here watching a whole bunch of guys. Actually, the funniest thing is the only day we didn't win for this interview, we got wins.
And then it's so windy, mate. There's like for Thailand now there's like around 15 kiters. And man, for Thailand, that means it's pumping, man. I'm telling you. that means it's sending.
I mean, I can see guys on 15 and 13 meter kites.
15, 13, bow kites, no problem, mate.
Mate, and do you speak Thai at all?
So I speak a little bit of Thai.
I mean, I heard you yapping last night. something about eggs with rice.
When I'm drunk, I speak a lot of Thai, though.
Yeah.
No, but like, so I speak a little Thai. You know, I can understand really well. Like, the problem is when I grew up here, you know, I didn't really grow up in a Thai school, and my mom really didn't really enforce it on me. It's because I was living in England and then I was living in Singapore. So I didn't really had to learn Thai, but now since I've moved here and stuff, it would be such a key language to master.
Yeah, 100%. And when you got the Thai tattoos, bro, how many tattoos?
Exactly.
You like the Conor McGregor of Thailand.
That's what they all say. Nah, I'm the funnier version, mate.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I'm the funnier and the guy that probably has a more positive vibe than Conor McGregor.
You know, one thing I've noticed about you, man, is that, and I think it's probably you're probably pretty passionate about, is that you're quite different online versus what people see on, let's say, social media side, which you've sort of made your name in, to what you are as a person. Is that something that you think about sort of all the time? Because, you talk, we spoke last night about keeping it real and being more real, and, life's not what you see on the internet. Is that something that you're very careful about?
So for me, virtual world is virtual world. Like, I mean, if you've met me personally, you would know what type of person I am, how I am. But yeah, for me, entertainment is everything, If you can make a friend laugh or someone random on Instagram just laugh, dude, you can make their day. And that, to me, like, if you want to actually know Robby James, you should meet him personally. Come on the beach, say hello, I don't bite, don't worry. And yeah, just get to know me and I'll get to know you, and have a good time as always, right?
Absolutely, bro. Send it.
Send it. Exactly. Send
you know what the funny thing is? He actually says that shit all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually a way of life.
It's basically like it's the way of life, It's the word I live my life to, I would say.
Well, I mean, the motorbike you picked me up on last night, mate, was basically...
Mate, the motorbike I picked him up last night, that's the real definition of send it.
That's the real definition of a death wish. I mean, I think probably times last night, there's 2 times where I thought, we might die. And the second time was, I think it was the steepest hill I've ever been up or down on a motorbike in my life. It was
Mate, but
terrifying.
We made it alive. We're doing this podcast right now. And that's what matters, am I right? I was just keeping the adrenaline pumping for him, getting him back on his feet.
Dude, how did you get into kiteboarding?
So my story was, my dad was traveling with me just for a normal holiday. I wasn't really a water sport guy. I was just a pretty normal kid, and I was in Tarifa because my grandma actually has an apartment in Tarifa.
Wow, how cool's that?
It's
it's unbelievable, right?
Awesome, mate, So I was just hanging down in Tarifa, and I was just sitting on the beach, having a beach time with my family, and I just saw a guy did like a super huge 10-meter jump, and after that day, just being able to have the feeling of flying, just impressed me so much that I had to get on board with this sport, It was just so fascinating.
So did you do your first lessons in Tarifa?
No. So actually, I saw it in Tarifa, and it was like stuck in my head.
Yeah.
And when I came back to Asia, I actually went to a local spot in Indonesia, and my dad had a friend that was a kite surfer, and he teaches kite surfing. So he taught me kite surfing, and ever since that day, I've never stopped and only kite surf. Cheers to all the kite surfers out there. You guys are legends, mate.
Absolutely. Mate, let's talk about your first year on tour.
Okay.
I mean, would it be fair to say that you struggle with consistency a little bit?
I would say, of course, the level is really high in the GK. Honestly, like, look at the top guys. They're just pushing it.
Consistency is the key, right?
Consistency is the key. And I would say, I have a lack of consistency, but nothing is stopping me from getting my goal and my dream. And it only means for me to work harder and train more to reach my goal, So it's going to be a tough one, but nobody said it was impossible, am I right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one thing I sort of noticed, and I think you and I spoke a little bit about last night, was how important is it to have a team with you on the beach and say, hey, you can improve on this trick, go back out and do this trick again, and get this to start off with a nice easy scoring thing. Did you find that you missed that a bit last year? I mean, obviously.
So I felt like, man, if you have someone just at least to tell you what to do on the beach, because when you're in competition mode, you can't really see the situations of what is happening and stuff. And it's nice to have someone that is watching the whole comp, telling you what you should do, what you need. And I feel like it's very critical if you want to do really well for your comps. That's for sure.
I mean, it's definitely noticeable, especially with Val and Mika, they've got the whole big sort of duotone team behind and just sort of controlling where they are. And at times, I'll give you a good example, right? Look at Mika and Lacat when she just wasn't having a good time. Fabio was in there saying, hey, let's just go out, let's just get a score, let's keep the pressure.
Exactly.
The world title's a long race, you know. Sometimes I think the riders, they need that, you know.
Yeah.
Not like maybe like a mentor, or at least a traveling coach or something like that, you know.
I feel like, man, it's so critical, especially like people at her level, you know, there's so much pressure.
Sure.
There's so much expectations, you know, and I feel like just that guy to be like, okay, just to ease everything and just focus on what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Do what I tell you to do, not what you're telling yourself to do. You know?
Sure. Mate, you mentioned your goals. What are your goals for next year?
So my goals for next year is, first thing, I will be in Cape Town for King of the Air. I'll be there watching the guys, sending it, you know, be with the crowd, having fun, training big air. And my goal is to compete in the GK next year. And as I said to every one of you, you know, Robby James is coming for you guys. Don't worry, you know. I am coming for you guys. That's all I'm saying.
Mate, I mean, you do all your training with Val, right? I mean, he just won the World Championship.
Yeah.
Has he helped you drive you to a higher level just with Val?
For me, I would say me and Val, a friendship we have, you know, it's a really good friendship, because first thing, he motivates me a lot to kitesurf. Like, I would say when I was kite surfing, and before I even met Val, like, to travel with, you know, I was a good kite surfer, but, you know, just didn't have as much motivation.
Yeah.
And after being with the pro riders, kiting with them giving me positive feedback, some motivation, you know, it really got me more loving the sport and really want to push it as far as I can, I could say.
I think it's a lot of people don't realize how much these riders train, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, you know. How many people are in a rut? They just get out there and they, like we were talking today about this guy just learning his back roll. They go out get the back roll, the front roll.
Yep.
You know, maybe a couple of jumps either side, and that's it. They do that for the next 10 years. But these top guys are pushing all the time, right? You were talking about how long they do sessions for. You know, when you're doing 2 hours, but you're crashing, it really wears you out, right?
Yeah, it does. And man, like, the longer you go for it, the more tired you get, the harder you crash. Am I right? So it's not something where you can just go out every day and just train like 2-3 hours. You know, you get sore, your muscles get ache. Like for me, I would say, you know, it takes a lot of time, a lot of passion into freestyle. You know, it takes a lot of watching a lot of videos, replaying it over and over again. You know, so you really have to be really committed into freestyle if you really want to make it work and push it to the next level, I would say. So
what about, like, let's say for you personally, you know, talk about going after everyone.
Yep.
I mean, you know, you're talking about, like, you want to make, you know, we want to start making a few quarterfinal semis, run deeper in the tournaments.
So that is the plan, you know. Next year I've got a really good travel plan with the best guys, you know, and hopefully I'm going to push my level to the max, land some big tricks, and as always, the most important, get as consistent as I can.
I think the consistency is cool. Mate, I noticed you're wearing a duotone top, mate. I mean, last year you were riding with Ozone and Liwa.
Yep.
Are you officially announcing that you're changing teams? Was that a semi-official?
So right now, I just want to say that I want to thank Duotone for everything in the comms. They've been really supportive of me, you know, and I just want to say that one thing is I really respect this brand a lot, because honestly, like, for me, I would say, like, when I'm in Brazil and stuff, a really good example is I'm just in the lagoon, just chilling, and my good mate Craig actually comes by to the lagoon, brings some gear, and actually makes a Grom search. Have you heard about the Grom search?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically where they bring gears for little kids in Brazil that are not so fortunate, lend them the gear to show off, have an expression session basically, and show off the best tricks. And whoever can show the best tricks and the most consistency gets a full set of kites to train. You know, so it's like there's nothing stopping you. If you got equipment, you know, reach your goal. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. And you know what I like what Craig said, you know, he said, hey man, we encouraged them to go to school. And there was a kid last year, right? He didn't do he was awesome, but he never did his studies.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Didn't get new kites this year.
Yeah.
So I do like that. And I think, you know, you can say education's important, but I mean, it is important, right? You know, I think Yannick was a good example. He said to me, listen, kite surfers now have a good time, but they're not good at playing life. And I thought that's pretty interesting to hear from a 18-year-old, because he's going to university, right? It's going to take a couple of years out to do his studies, you know? Yeah. But mate, I mean, you made your name on the tour this year for what you did off the water, you know?
Exactly.
And that sort of goes back to that first question about what you see online is different to reality, right? I mean, was that your...
I would say, like...
I mean, how did that happen this year? Just you got involved in partying more than training? Was that just natural, or...?
So for me, like, you know, I was... main thing is actually like just being yourself, you know? When I'm posting these videos on Instagram, I'm not wearing a mask, you know? I'm not trying to be someone who I want to be. I'm just literally being myself as possible, trying to make people laugh with funny videos and just making people day, you know? And to me, that's like, of course, Instagram is a virtual world, and you can literally be anyone you want on Instagram or on any virtual websites. But I would say, for me, just everything that I've done is just from trying to be creative, trying to think out of the box, trying to create some content, because I feel like there's a big lacking of content for kite surfing. That's what I feel, you know, like, man, pro riders should be making way more videos. It's not hard, and I feel like they're, you know, I'm a really interested kite surfer, and I would love to watch some really nice videos, you know.
I mean, you're almost becoming what is it, the hype master these days on the tour. But that hype master comes, man, when you get knocked out in the first round, bro.
Exactly. Then you can have the most hype after that, man.
First one out gets on the mic.
First one out, you get on the mic. You're the hype man.
But I mean, I tell you what though, it was very cool what you were doing on Kumbuka, and I did think it was like, as you said to me last night, when people heard that Robby James is going to be on the mic, people were like, "Oh, he's going to fuck it up. He's going to do this." But dude, you nailed it. I mean, you don't just nail it, bro. You were. It was like a professional, right?
Yep.
You were respectful enough to the riders. You were respectful enough to the event, and that's the key thing, bro. I think comes down to you respected the event it was. Hey, even though watching your best mate Val win the world title, you could have gone crazy, right? But you were like, "Hey, I'm still doing my job," and I thought that was what I thought was the best, you know.
Yep. Like, to me, you know, like, of course, everybody has their impressions of people and how they think, like, this guy is. But, like, when I got called to do the mic for the GKA, actually, people were having a bit of a, as you said, a negative thought, thinking, yeah, this guy's crazy, but, like, do we really need this on the mic right now, you know? And
how did that actually come about?
So I just overhearing some people and just some.
Did they have a Brazilian guy on the mic before?
Yeah, so basically they had a Brazilian guy talking Portuguese, and man, to be honest, like, no one really understood what he was talking about. Like,
I don't think anyone understood.
No, I don't even think that. Exactly. But yeah, so like, there's this Portuguese guy. He's like, I would say, okay, he's not bad, but he doesn't really know anything about kite surfing. He's he was more of just promoting the name of the sponsors, you know? So there was no actually man of the mic there, and Tom Hartman from GKA came up to me and was like, you know, Robby, you know, you're a good talker. I need you on the mic. And I was like, why not? And when people first heard, like, Robby James is gonna be on the mic, they were like, I mean, I was surprised.
Listen, you know, there's that saying, those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. Yeah. You know, so for the people who really care about you, they don't give a shit. Yeah. It's the haters. They're like, it's the haters that are gonna hate, you know.
Yeah, but haters gonna hate, man. But you're just gonna have to create. Exactly.
Dude, I thought it was awesome, man. And I mean, you were in the commentary booth a few times with especially up, I think in Lacat you're in, eh?
Yep.
I think it was probably the first time actually. I think it was the first time people really heard you spoke. But I mean, that commentary's a tough game, eh?
Man, it is.
Those guys, that's next level. That's next level talk.
I mean, for me, like, man, commentary are just amazing. You know, it trains for you to talk. You know, it's just, man, like, I love commentating, you know. It's just, I get to talk about my friends, about situations that are happening, especially explaining situations. So, like, the people that are listening can understand it even better. Yeah.
Mate, when did you sort of, how can I say this? When did you sort of come into your own on the tour? Did it take you a few stops to sort of find yourself, or you just basically came in like a bull into a china shop, you know?
Nah, of course. So when I first joined the tour, like, I honestly, like, to me, when I first arrived, I was like looking at every single rider, and I was like, this is kite surfing Hollywood, man. You know, these are the guys I've been watching videos for a long time. You know, these are guys that I've dreamed to even see them kite. And now just walking into a place where it's just full of the people that you've just been watching Instagram of, just watching their content, you know, it's just the craziest feeling ever.
And then realize, well, again, going back to my first question, when did you realize that, you know, these were your peers and you actually fit into this group? Because there is some wait time, right? I mean, it's like feeling like the outsider, first time on tour, finally
exactly.
Man, these guys actually respect me, you know? Exactly. They respect me on the water and off the water, you know?
Exactly. So I would say, first few comps, you know, I had to get in. And of course, I did feel like an outsider. You know, I came in not knowing anyone, just by my own, and slowly by slowly making friends, being socializable, hanging out with them, and now being so happy to be able to call them my mates, you know?
Sure.
So it's...
And I mean, what can you take out of this year's tour that you can do next year? What's your main sort of goals for next year on the tour?
So,
I mean, like, let's say on the water, off the water goals, you know?
Yeah.
I think I probably asked you this question already.
As always. I
think it's the beers.
As always, you know, my goal is to always and never stop sending it on and off the water for you guys, as always. But yeah, my goal is, you know, I really want to push myself, push my level. Like, I've been kiting for 3.5 years, honestly.
So you're still new into kiting,
yeah, I'm still new, you know, and for me, like, where I grew up, mate, you probably kite like 3 months a year.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like amazing. And, you know, it's not the best. So in order for me to really get that level, I really need to train to far places and just to progress my level, you know. And I would say my goal for next year is, I mean, I've proved myself really good this year, you know. This year I would say it's more like an expression year to see everything how it is, you know what's the flow, know the people, and I'm telling you, next year I am coming back hardest as ever, and I'm gonna prove to all you guys that Robby James can do it.
Dude, I mean, you sort of made the send it, the catchphrase is your thing. I think we were speaking again a bit this last night, you know, you didn't invent this phrase. How did you take ownership in that and just it became your thing, you know?
So the story was, I was in Fuerteventura, and I was with Oswald and Liam. So we were driving in this car. This car was hectic, mate. Like, we had 6 board bags and the smallest Suzuki you can ever see. You know, like literally, we tried to drive off with the boot open, because the board bags just would not fit in, you know, and yeah, so long story short, so we were driving in the car, and Liam was like, hey mate, I'm gonna film a video of you. I was like, okay, what do you want me to say? And he was like, I just want you to say, send it. And I was like, what's send it? You know, and he was like, send it as you. You know, he told me like that, and he said like, he kind of elaborated what send it is, and to me, send it is like, doing something 100% without holding back.
Yeah.
That's sending it.
Yeah.
You know? And I made my first ever Robby James video in the front of a car, just giving my inspirational notes to all you legends out there. And
I think I saw that video.
Yeah, I think you did, eh?
Yeah. Send it the Robby James way.
Send it the only way, the Robby James way.
And last night I experienced it. I experienced the Robby James way.
Yeah, you did. And, he had an amazing time, that's for sure, I'm telling you.
It was a good, it was a very, very, very good night.
Yeah, it was a proper send.
Put it this way, I was worried that this thing wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
I was like, dude.
The night went so lit. He was 90% sure that I would not turn up for this podcast.
I was 95% sure.
It was the biggest surprise of his life when I turned up. Yeah, he was like, what? This ain't possible.
Hey, I mean, dude, you're really into big air, actually. Yeah? So freestyle isn't actually your top thing. I mean, you prefer to do big air, right?
For sure, man. Big air, what's better than the feeling of flying?
Yeah, sure.
Am I right?
So, I mean, are you going to get to that stage where you'll cross over and do more big air? I know you put a video on for the Kingy there this year.
Yep.
Is that something that you'd like to do? Sort of make your name on the freestyle tour a bit and then go big air?
Like, why I'm doing freestyle too is because I don't want to be a single discipline rider. Yeah,
sure.
You know? In order to be imported for the brands, if you can do dual discipline, you can have shoots for dual discipline, you know, and it's just way better as a rider for you, you know? And that's why I'm doing the freestyle, just so I don't want to be the best at it. Nor I don't want to be the world champion. But
core skills, right? I mean, if you look at King of the Air, big air, you almost need to be freestyle on steroids, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. Freestyle on steroids. Yeah, that's basically what Liam's doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fuck.
Nah, but Liam's a god, man. Liam, if you're watching this, man, you're the god, man. I'm telling you, you're a legend, absolute living legend.
Mate, are you? How come you didn't do the Red Bull King of the Air qualifier in Taiwan, since you're an Asian guy? Man, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to showcase there, and also a great opportunity to almost push there, you know, because there was only maybe 4 or 5 real top riders there, you know.
It was such a pity, but to me, you know, I was in Brazil, the other side of the world. I was with my best mates training, you know, with Valentine. And, you know, once you're in that flow of training and you're just in this loop, you know, you don't really want to change it, you know. You've got this daily plan of your training and what you do. And, you know, it's just like you're in that cycle, I would say.
Sure.
And just, like, it would be so amazing to have done that King of the Air qualifier in Taiwan. But, man, it was such a long way. And the period for me landing there and the comp being the next day is just too ridiculous, you know.
Dude, I mean, imagine if you had gone and you'd missed freaking Val win the world title.
Yeah, exactly. So I could have, it's either you take one and lose one, you know. And to me, Val winning a world title is probably one of the most proudest moments of my life.
It was incredible. I mean, just the level of competition between Liam, Val, and Aduri is just...
Luis Alberto Cruz, man.
Oh, man. Wow. I mean, and Luis Alberto Cruz isn't even doing half the tours. Every now and then rocks up.
He's there like 2 comps or 3 comps, and he rocks up and he's just killing everyone. Like, man, that guy's a literal legend. Like,
how do you think, you know, being on tour 1 year, how do you think they can improve the tour? You know, I mean, to be a successful tour, bro, you've always got to be tough on yourself and look how to make improvements, whether it's increasing money or on sponsorship. What do you think the major thing that the GKA can do?
For me, I would, like, honestly, GKA, like, I am actually, for a tour, I'm actually really impressed with them. Yeah. Because the locations that they've brought us this year, like, has been fantastic. Like, going to Mauritius.
Yeah, sure.
And then Dakhla, and it's just like, okay, for me, probably they could do a bit better with a bit more budget-wise. Yeah. You know, but as they have it right now, if they could just make a better live stream and just be able to have a live stream like a good live stream, I think that's so perfect. Because me being at the event, man, there is nothing wrong, honestly, and man, it's a really successful event in the end of the day, I would say.
What happened to like Lewis and Tom Corp being all the commentators? They were like, Lewis was a commentator for about 3 years now. Yeah. Joe Siastel is doing all the commentary. All the commentary. He does the strapless set, which actually, to be honest, I think Joe's doing a great job.
No, he's doing it, man.
But how did Joe get from, you know, being one of the sort of lackeys on the tour to now being a full-on commentator? Was it just right place, right time? I think Joe. First thing about Joe, like, man, he has a really suitable voice for a commentator, I would say. Yeah. You know, to me, when I commentate, the person I think of is Joe. You know? Ah, really?
Yeah, honestly. When I get on that mic in Brazil, I'm just thinking of how did Joe do it? How did Joe say it? You know, how did he explain this situation? Yeah. You know, just by following up. Because, man, he's done it, he's experienced, and honestly, on the mic, he is the man.
Yeah, for sure. It is important. Like, one of my sort of pet hates about kiteboarding commentary is that, you know, we're still just trying to have 2 pros in there, you know. I think like if you look at like give an example, like any other sport, right? They've got a color guy, and then you got a play-by-play guy, and your play-by-play guy, he doesn't even have to know the sport, right? He just cues up the sponsors, cues up the heats, the names, and then you have your experienced guy. Like, let's say, put the meat around the bone, you know. I still think we missed that in kiteboarding a bit, you know. We have a good play-by-play guy, and then you have a good guy like Joe who, like 315, 317.
He knows the tricks.
He knows the tricks, and he does that side.
Exactly.
Because at times we get I find the commentary gets a bit lost, you know. Especially between heats. It's easy just to cut it off and stand by, you know.
Yeah.
So, no, I think the GKA is doing a pretty good job, bro, to be honest.
I'm really proud. You know, I've seen the previous tour and how it got run, and I would say, you know, this is how finally we have a proper tour again, you know. Not, you know, and I'm proud of them because, man, they're doing it really professionally, you know. And the best thing is the guys that are running it, you know, the guys in the management booth and stuff, Man, you know, they're all really close friends with the riders too. You know, there's like, it's not like anyone's uncomfortable with each other. You know, if I need to talk to someone about something, I can talk to him and go straight up. And if we need anything to say or any questions, you know, they're always up to answer it, you know. And for me, it's more of a kite surfing family. And if you can get a competition, which is like a family too, that's an amazing time, you know.
You know, speaking of family, mate, I mean, with Val, do you think, how much pressure's on Val for next year? I mean, I guess Aduri really wants that, right? And listen,
man, I don't
know if what Bebe's doing. I hope Bebe's coming back. But I mean, Liam definitely wants to win another one before time passes him by. I mean, has he looked at this and he's putting in a big plan for next year?
So the thing about Val, he's always full of surprises, you know.
No, really?
You can never.
He's going to do the strapless tour as well.
Like Mika, eh? Nah, but like the thing about Val is, you know, he's really good in handling pressured situations.
Fuck.
You know, that's the thing. I've
well, I'll give you an
that,
example. You know when they had that remember they had how many times in what's name do they have standbys, like, you know, kites and jet skis or surfboards and these. And I was thinking, man, halfway through the final, remember they had the break.
halfway through the final with a break and that happening.
How is the guys going to handle that, you know? It's a lot of pressure to come back, rest on the beach. But, dude, I actually think that Val came back after that break and just, like,
and annihilated. He came back.
How was the scores?
Like, man, the scores are like 38 or something. He literally had 4 scores of each 9-ish, you know? And
I think 9.1 was his lowest or something like that.
9.1 was his lowest, man. And the thing about what Val did is, he not only won the World Championship, but he actually secured his place for the World Championship, where it means that if anyone would have done a trick, they would still not have enough points to override his points. So even before they did their trick, he just went back to the beach because he knew he was already a world champion. So to me, that is, you know, awesome. Just being able to do that in front of riders like Liam, Luis Alberto Cruz, and Aduri is just too insane, man. You know, you
consistency,
need to,
awesome. And I know that you and Mika and Val are all good mates. You know, I mean, Mika's the same as well, right? How's her consistency? I mean, it goes back to the first thing I said to you. Would it be fair to say you need consistency in your life?
Exactly, for sure. Consistency is everything.
They just seem to be.
If you have consistency, you're in control. You know.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing, and that's good. You know. Sometimes it's good. You know.
Yeah. Dude, this wind's picking up, bro.
Man, it is, man. But.
Well, like I tell you what, brother. Thank you very much, man, for looking after me on Copenhagen.
Thank you so much,
dude. It was an absolute pleasure, and dude, I'll be back. I think I went to some of the nicest bars I've ever went to in my life.
I hope you loved it, you know. Like, as always, you're always welcome to Copenhagen, you know.
I didn't love the motorbike.
That can be changed. that can be fixed the next time you come, you know.
Dude, I wish, and you know the funny thing is, we didn't have a photo of me and you on that bike.
No.
Dude, and if anyone asked me the Robby James way, I'd say, dude, it's got to be better than this bike.
Exactly, mate, you know.
Well, look,
that bike is the Robby James here right there.
And let me just explain it to you. It's a piece of shit.
Okay, basically it's like a 1954 vintage Suzuki, mate, you know?
Yeah. The seat is basically an old towel on springs.
It's missing like 3 screws or something, you know?
Right.
Like, mate, but if it works, it works. And that's the Robby James way, am I right? If it doesn't work, you make it work, mate.
On that note, my brother. I'll be back, man, for sure.
Always, and have a good one. And as always, thank you so much for the podcast. And it's been amazing with you, man.
Thank you. My pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed that last interview with Robby James. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hit that notification bell so you know when the next episode of The Brew is coming out. Cheers.